Hi, scrappers. Good morning. Hi, scrappers. Good morning. I'm Alice Funk. I just want to show you a really cute technique. This is something I came up with after watching a card class on a good friend's page. It's sort of a draping look. Looks like a set of draperies on this page. So I want to show you how to do this. Um, some of the tools we'll be using today are the Creative Memories new trimmer with both the straight edge blade and the scoring, not, yes, the scoring blade, as well as the simple leaf punch, which I've already punched out. So if you have the simple leaf punch, that creates this really cute flower in the center. So let's get started. Let me show you how to do this. So basically what you want to do is cut your paper, and I'll show you in a minute how to do that. You want to cut your paper into a very long triangle. So basically I cut it and then taped it together so that it was even longer than your 12-inch size. And then what you're going to do is score at 2 inches and then 1 inch, 2 inches, then 1 inch, 2 inch, then 1 inch, and then you're going to fold it so that I've got this taped a little bit so that I can, just for my demonstration here, you're going to fold it and keep folding it so you have the drape. So the idea, here's your drape, or you can do it this way or this way, whatever way you want on your page. But the idea, it's almost like a little accordion. um, the idea of paper you want to use would be something double-sided so that you're going to see both sides and has quite a contrast. So when I started doing this page on this paper, the contrast is light blue with a pattern blue, and you don't see the drape as much. It just looks like you cut your paper in stairs when it's on the page. So what I chose to do my page layout in was a piece of paper. I believe this is from our mixed greens collection. If you see up close, this has dots on one side, white background with green dots, and then more of a solid smeared green paint on the background. So it looks more white and green. So you're going to see more of the contrast. So let me put this down, and I'm going to show you how we make the page. So I want to cut my paper from in the middle from 6 inches. Let me turn it to the green side. From 6 inches down to the bottom, to the other opposite side at 1 inch. So I'm doing a cut along here that's going to look like this. So I'm going to put one side of my paper, find the 6-inch mark. Let me put my arm out on my trimmer. So the new trimmer has this great arm. I am going to cut my paper, and you can all see on your trimmer there is a line exactly where it's going to cut. And if you can't see that cut line on this particular trimmer, you can take the scoring mat where you're actually going to cut and flip it over to the other side so you can see more of those lines exactly where it's going to do the cut edge. And then you'll see exactly where to put your paper. So if I take one side of my paper, find the 6-inch mark, 6-inch mark, and that's going to be right at your cut line. Don't cut yet. You're going to turn your paper, keep that 6-inch mark on the one side exactly at your cutting line, and you're going to turn your paper so that it's on a diagonal. Let's see if I can turn this a little bit more. It's on a diagonal, and you're going to go down to the 1-inch mark, which I've already marked. So mark your 1-inch mark and your 6-inch mark on the other side, and you're going to put the 1-inch mark on that cut line as well. So when you actually cut your paper, it's going to look like, whoops, I may have to trim the edges. It's a little hard to get paper that long on a diagonal to cut all the way through. So, okay, so now I have this, the two pieces. So one is skinnier than the other. You can see the difference in size. Now, before I start, I'm going to need to cut a little bit off this edge, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my big angle, and I'm going to adhere my small angle to the big angle. See that? So I'm going to take a little bit of tape, and I'm going to adhere them together. Let me move my trimmer out of the way. Put a dark background so you can see better. So I'm going to adhere my small angle to my big angle, and make sure the edge that's on the angle is the one you're lining it up on. So I'm going to adhere them together. So you see there, now I have this big long triangle. So, but you're going to notice at the very end of the bigger side, there's a little edge here that needs to be trimmed off. And that's because this is obviously narrower on this side, and this side is not as narrow. Let me just make a darker background so you can see this all the way across. So this little edge we're going to trim off, and it's about 1/4 of an inch on that paper. So you're going to take, before you take this down, this bigger side, you have your angled side and your straight side. On the straight side, you're going to cut off about 1/4 of an inch. So, which is actually 1/4 of an inch is about the size of that cutting mat. If you have a different trimmer, measure about 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to take that off. So we have this little tiny strip you can use for another page. I'm sure with lots of strips, and you can come up with something. So now you're going to take your big angle again, put it down, put some tape along the smaller edge of that angle, and you're going to tape the small triangle to the big angle here. I don't know what to call it. So now I have one big long strip triangle. Now I'm going to take my trimmer, I'm going to take out the straight blade, and I'm going to, if you know our trimmers, we keep all our different blades on the back. I'm going to take the scoring blade out, and I'm going to put that into the housing so that I can score my paper. I don't want to cut it through, I just want to score it. So now take your straight edge, not the angled edge, the straight edge along the top of your trimmer, and I'm going to measure 2 inches, and I'm going to score it. Then I'm going to move it over, wait, let me get my arm out. I'm going to move it over 1 inch and score it, keeping that long straight line across the top ruler. So now I'm going to move it over 2 more inches, 2 inches, score it. Then I'm going to move it over 1 inch, score it. I'm going to move it over 2 inches, score, and 1 inch. And you're going to do this all the way across in the same pattern. 2 inches and 1 inch. Whoops. You can see I'm just creating this pattern all the way across my page. What did I just do? One, and of course, you know, you do get to the point where, hey, I forgot what I was doing because I was trying to talk to you. Okay, so we have 1 inch. Now I'm going to go 2 inches. 2 inches. Then we're going to go 1 inch. Whoops. 1 inch. And now I'm going to go 2 inches. And you're going to get to the point where the end of your paper runs out of the arm of the blade. That's okay. You can look at your score line and look at the lines on your trimmer and just measure it from there. So now I'm going to move it over 1 inch. And then 2 inches. 1, 2, 2 inches. And then 1 inch. And then 2 inches, and this one actually you may want to do differently at the end. You may want to just do it 1 inch from the end so you have a little tip of the end. So going forward. So now for the fold, I want my white with the green polka dot side up. So what I'm going to do is start at one end and I'm going to fold along the scoring lines and then fold one way and then fold it back. Sort of like we did years ago, accordion folds in school to make our fans because it was so hot in this summer. Where's my scoring? Here it is. Okay, so we're just going to fold it like an accordion all the way. Wait, so that's 1 inch. Now it would be 2 inches. Hard to see my lines on patterned paper. And then 1 inch. And then 2 inches. And then 1 inch. And you're just going to keep folding along those scored lines. And you can see how it's starting to drape. See, it is an accordion, but it's starting to drape. You can see the difference in colors that are starting to come up at the bottom of the page because I have double-sided paper. You want to make sure it's double-sided paper, and you want a contrasting colors on that double side so that it's looking so that you can actually see the bottoms, so it makes it look like it's draped. So now I have my accordion folds all the way through, and I'm just going to tape down under that 1 inch fold over on each side. So if you see how I'm taping right under where the fold over would be. And on the end, what I did was I scored it about 1 inch from the end, and then about looks like a quarter of an inch at the other end, just so that I had a little drape at the end and it didn't look funny. So you can see I have that very draped look at the end, but you can see all these triangles of green along the bottom, which shows you where you draped it. Then you're going to do the same thing on the other side and tape down those fold overs. So the reason for that is you want it to lie flat on your page and not bump up or pucker, especially as you're putting on your page protector. You want to be able to get the page protector over it. So now it lays nice and flat. Oh, I missed one. and you have your draped look. So then I'm just going to put some tape along the back. And I'm going to adhere it to my paper. And if you see on my sample, I didn't go quite to the edge of the paper on this side. That's up to you. I'm going to leave it up to you exactly where you want it. The idea of this video is really just for you to learn the technique. It's basically folding an accordion, and I did it on an angle so that you'd see the draped page. There's my drape going on, and you can see if I put it with my other page, now I have the drape marks, drape marks on two sides. It almost looks like, yeah, the theater curtains. It just I thought it was really cute for a great page. Then you can just take your squares, your rectangles or matted pictures. You can really decide wherever you want to see them put on your page. Just stick one in here. It all depends on where you want your pictures to fall, where you like them. I like a lot of vertical pictures. I'm going to put this one horizontal because I want to keep room. Now, to do the flower that I had come up with, as you can see on this page, the flower I made out of the Simple Leaf Border Maker cartridge. I cut the actual Simple Leaf in white, and then what I did was I just cut each of the leaves apart. Just another idea for this, rather than it just being a border. And I made sure, if you look at the Simple Leaf, I want to show you. If you look at the Simple Leaf, it almost looks like there's an arrow inside. I put it on the paper so that all the arrows were coming out of the middle of the flower. So I put a little repositional tape on, and I have the flower going out. And you can trim the edges of the top edges of each leaf into a point if you want. Doesn't have to be. Some flowers are pointed, some are not, the petals. So what I did was I just made sure the leaves were all in the same direction. That arrow was all pointed in the same direction. And then I just put all the bottom tips of those leaves all on top of each other, so that they were all coming out of the same middle. And then I added a circle, and I have a green circle here. Let me get this all down. This one I cut a little funny, so we're just gonna point him a little bit. And some tape. So all my leaves, like I said, the arrows are all pointing outwards. I just thought that would look prettier than different. So I did pay attention to that. I took a green circle, I taped that on the middle, and you can even pop that with a foam square. And then I took a leaf from one of our embellishment packages, and I put that on it just to kind of dress it up. This would look great with some of the leaves from the new vitamin C package. And I just kind of put that there. That's probably got to go sideways now that I'm looking at where this fell. There we go. So there is my beautiful page. Thank you for joining me to make our wonderful drape page. And if you do two across from each other, make sure you do them the opposite angles so that you get a nice draped look. This would look great for a theater page. It would look great on any page. Any pictures would really look cute. But that's how it's done. I hope you rewind and replay it so that you learn how to do it, and make sure you post your pages after you've done this technique. Have a great day, scrappers, and I hope to see you all soon. Bye.